morning. Good morning, good morning. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at in the world, whatever time zone you in. Make it good, y'all. Make it good. Wait, the fuck? Did the time? Did we have fall back already? Anyway. How y'all doing this morning? It is Monday, September 23rd. Is nerd 2024. I am on my way to Georgia. I'm on the road, y'all. I'm on the road. And I was inspired to talk about something very important, y'all. I was inspired to talk about something very important. Very important. Because I was just thinking about all the shit that's going on in the news and social media. You know, I was thinking about, everybody's talking about P. Diddy and that situation and all the shit surrounding that with the lube and the baby oil and the 18,000 dildos and all this bullshit. And I was also thinking about, how they're saying Jamie Foxx recorded Jerry West or some basketball team owner. I forgot Jerry West, Jerry. So I don't really pay attention to basketball like that. But he was recorded by Jamie Foxx, who went live, and this guy was talking about the basketball players, their height and their weight and their penis size and all this other silly shit. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Right? I mean, this is shit's crazy. Shout out to 78 Sports TV for bringing that to my attention. He made a video. He didn't bring it directly to my attention, but watching the video he did and talking about that. And I'm like, why would a basketball team owner know about the sizes of his players' penises? Unless he has the locker room under hidden cameras or some shit. And why is he comfortable enough to talk about this with Jamie Foxx in the first place? It's like, what in the fuck is going on? What is going on right now in the world? And I'm like, man, this shit's crazy. Then I'm on the road, before I hit the road, I'm at the gas station, and I scroll through my timeline to see what I was going to listen to. And then I stumbled across this young lady's channel. She goes by the Sacral Healer. The Sacral Healer. It's spelled SACRAL. Basically like the sacral down there, where your ass bone is, the sacral, I guess. I don't know. I don't really know the origin of her channel name, but she goes by the Sacral Healer on YouTube. And she had a video titled her HIV symptoms. So this young lady has HIV. She's a very beautiful young lady, but she has a shaved head and all that stuff, but she's beautiful. And she's just talking about what was going on when she discovered that she had HIV and what her symptoms were, what the chain of events were, and all this shit. And one interesting thing about her situation is how quickly, after she had the unprotected sex, how quickly she was able to discover she had HIV. Basically, 3 weeks after she had this sex with this dude, she started showing symptoms. And I was like, damn, 3 weeks? I said, motherfucker, people can go years without having symptoms with HIV. But fortunately for her, she was able to catch it early, mad early, and was able to get her situation situated. But it made me want to do this video because I tend to forget, because I've been married for the last, I've been married to I've been with the same woman going on 16 years, and I haven't had any sex with anybody else in 16 years. And you tend to forget what that world is like. Because even me, it's kind of crazy that I would forget, because I was wild than a motherfucker in my 20s. When I was in my 20s, especially the first half of my 20s, I was reckless with the penis, right? I was reckless with the penis. I was giving it up. I mean, I was knocking them down. I was chick after chick after chick, one night stand, flings, threesomes, just slinging it around as much as I could, because it was like, fuck it, why not? I mean, I'm a young single man right now, you know what I'm saying? And these girls are throwing the draws at me. I was getting the draws thrown at your boy. Your boy was getting the draws thrown at him. And it was a sport for me. Like it was just, and what I was able to do with what little I had, it was wild, right? It was crazy, because I got out the Army and I really started. I was going to ham in the Army, right? I was going to ham in the Army when I was in South Korea, when I was in Kansas, when I was in Georgia. I was going crazy there. But then once I got back to LA, because I got married in the military too, y'all. Let's not forget that. I got married in the military. And I was trying to be faithful, but then my ex-wife kept accusing me of banging this chick, that chick, fucking her friends, and there wasn't no real friends, right? Because they were just some chicks she met on post. But the thing is, I started getting in, right? The bottom line is, I was mad reckless. I was mad reckless in my 20s with the peen, throwing it around. And of course, HIV and AIDS was very present back then. Like, it was something. It was a thing, right? The first time I ever heard about HIV and all that was when Magic Johnson came out and told everybody that he had HIV. And I was in the 6th grade, and I had just learned basically about HIV. I was learning about HIV because I was taking a sex ed class or whatever the case may be. And they were talking about it, and then Magic Johnson came out and told his story, and it was kind of crazy, because it was like a death sentence, right? You would think. So everybody was tripping on Magic Johnson. So trust me, this isn't a new thing, right? This isn't a new thing, right? But the thing is now, when back then it was the dangers of it was widely talked about. It was talked about often. It was talked about consistently. It was in movies. It was in TV shows. You can watch TV shows and movies, and they were talking about, oh, wear a condom, have protected sex, all this, that, and the third. And now, when you look at it, like I said, because I've been married so long and I haven't had sex with another woman in so long, you tend to forget that motherfuckers out here be recklessly having sex. And you don't hear so much about HIV anymore. You don't hear so much about sexually transmitted diseases. But before I got married, like 3 or 4 years before I got married the second time, I myself caught an STD for the third time. For the third time, I caught an STD because, like I said, I was out there slanging and banging. I was out there getting it in, getting it cracking, popping and locking. Just doing just crazy, wild, reckless shit with my penis and just all that shit. And just having sex with these girls. Like I said, when I got back to LA, I was going ham. You know what I'm saying? I was laying it low and spreading it wide. Because, like I said, why not? I'm single. It was a cool thing to do. You got brownie points, you know what I'm saying, with the homies. They like, oh, this nigga, oh, this. But when you think about it, it's stupid, right? It's stupid. Because it really is dangerous to do that. Like I said, I caught 3 different sexually transmitted diseases, including crabs. Now, I caught the crabs when I was in the military. No, not spreading the cheeks wide. I'm talking about my man juice. I was out there with women, strictly women, vaginal sex. I was out there getting it in with a lot of women, and it was just vaginal. Like I don't do nobody's booty play, none of that. No, there was no booty play with none of these chicks. I wasn't playing that. It was strictly clitly. It was Vagina Island around this motherfucker. But the bottom line is, as much of the sex I was having with these women, I'm blessed to only have had 3 sexually transmitted diseases, like I said, including crabs. So it's chlamydia, crabs, and gonorrhea. Those are the 3 different things that I caught while I was out there getting it in. And, you know, like I said, that was fortunate for me, because a lot of worse things could happen. It's not just sexually transmitted diseases, y'all. And especially nowadays, this shit is downplayed. The dangers of wild, reckless, unprotected sex is downplayed. Okay. Anyway, so it's downplayed, but at the same time, this shit is they're treating it a lot differently these days, right? Because when I say the dominant culture, I'm talking about the people that run the media, that put out things to the public, you know, the propaganda branch of the United States government. That's what I'm talking about when I say the dominant culture. Because the dominant culture runs this country, right? And by extension, it runs the world, right? Because, you know, they say that we are the leaders of the free world. Well, sex, especially wild, unprotected sex, is something that is pushed upon the people these days. But the dangers and the downsides of that is kind of downplayed. Well, it's very much so downplayed. It is something that is heavily pushed upon us. You know, if you look at it, it's even glorified. It's glorified. You got all the music media, the music, you know, all the only fans, and, you know, all the Instagram shit, everything that you see on YouTube, right? Is heavily pushed. It's heavily pushed. But what about the dangers of this shit, right? Because you think these people out here, they doing their thing, they getting it in, they going around, especially like, think about these how it's talked about how certain percentage of men have access to all these different women, and they are taking advantage of that access because modern women these days go for certain type of men, and these certain type of men don't have to follow the same rules as less desired men. And so, you know how they say, right? They say that 80% of the women want 20% of the men. And so these 20% of men are having access to all these different women and all that type of shit. And, you know, it's crazy how that's something that is glorified. It's glorified when, you know, it's now like a big thing to have your way with all these people sexually. And then also you got to think about how heavily homosexual gay sex and all that shit is. Oh, what's up, NRE Television? I mean, that is something that is pushed heavily. It's pushed in the media. It's pushed. I mean, look at all these shows with all the gaydom, right? Gay shit everywhere. Let's do this gay shit. Oh, this is the gayest television ever. You know, it's like, what? What are we doing? Especially all these Disney shows. Think about it. These Disney shows, Disney is supposed to be for children. But you got all these shows coming out now on Disney Plus, like Agatha, whatever the fuck, All Along, and the show before that, the Star Wars show, the Acolyte. I mean, they are talking about, oh yeah, this is the gayest Star Wars show ever. This is the gayest Marvel show ever. Like, what? So this shit is being pushed. And gay sex, especially amongst men, is the most dangerous, physically. Right? Anal sex is the most, is like any disease that you can get having sex. You are going to get it more times than not, anally, right? You many times more likely to catch a sexually transmitted disease through anal sex than through vaginal sex. Like a man having sex with a woman vaginally, because of just everything that's going on down there, right? It is an exit only, but they're this gayest show ever. Oh, this, that, and like all these these goddamn drag shows and stripper, like tranny stripper men, little kids just being exposed to this nonsense. And it's fucking dangerous. It's dangerous enough just on the level of what you can catch from all that sex, right? All that unprotected sex. They're not even pushing protected sex anymore like that, like they did back in the day. Now it's just, oh, well, go be fruitful. Go ahead and just do what you want, who you want, and how you want. And don't worry, if you get pregnant, you can go. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're pushing abortion more than abstinence. Oh, it's a woman's right to choose. They're pushing a woman's right to choose to have reckless, unprotected sex before they're pushing, well, how about you abstain? How about you chill for a minute? Sit your hot ass down. Sit your hot ass down. And, how about just be careful with your body? Be careful with your body. How about they're not encouraging the choice for men and women to just relax with their hind parts and just, hey, there's nothing wrong with having sex with one person for the rest of your fucking life. It's just real shit. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. Because the sex can still be exciting. Now, if you're with a person, especially men, y'all fellas, if you're with a woman and when you first got with her, she was getting wet than a motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? And the sex was great and she was squirting and super wet and just, it felt great. It could be like that for the rest of y'all fucking life. And every now and then, if y'all want to introduce some crazy shit, like me and my wife have talked about introducing another woman into the picture. Nothing wrong with that if you guys are careful about selecting that woman and all that other type of shit. There's nothing wrong with that. Just be careful with that, right? But, you ain't got to go out and just do all this other crazy shit. You guys do what you want. But I'm telling y'all right now, as a person who caught 3 sexually transmitted diseases, I'm lucky and blessed to not have caught HIV or some crazy shit like that. that it was just gonorrhea, that it was just chlamydia, that it was just cramps, something that you could just get rid of in 3, 4, 5, 7 days, right? But that woke me up when I caught, because the third time it was gonorrhea, and I said, let me sit my hot ass down somewhere. So I went celibate for 3 years before I got with not my wife, but my second wife, but the chick before that I was hella cool with. You know what I'm saying? She seemed like she was hella cool, and you know, she was on point. Her mind was right, and you know, she was blessed to be the one to break my celibacy. You know, that didn't really work out. You know, she had to leave the state, and then shortly after that, I got with my wife. But the point is that it can always be exciting. Listen, if Angry Television says, what has the Alphabet Soup community done to positively contribute to the nothing? They have done nothing to contribute. Just to answer your question, Anarchy. But I mean, listen, y'all. Listen, I'm gonna break it to you guys, especially the fellas. And this is something that I learned myself. If you're with a young woman and she ain't in menopause, right? If she ain't going through menopause, and she's premenopausal, and she ain't getting wet, that's on you. I'm letting y'all know that right now. If she's not getting wet, it's because you ain't turning her on, y'all. Just sorry to break it to you. Now, might she have a pH problem? Might she have an issue with her diet? Sure. There might be an issue with that. But 9 times out of 10, you ain't getting her wet. You ain't turning her on, y'all. Sorry. If she ain't getting wet, if you gotta use lubricant and spit, and you know, and when you getting ready to get it cracking, that vagina and that, you know, that beautiful vagina is not nice and fluffy and wet and swollen, it's because you haven't turned her on. So, and sometimes she might not be in the mood. Sometimes, you know, she just that she ain't in the mood and it ain't happening. But I don't have an issue. I haven't had, as a matter of fact, once I figured out that I'm responsible for getting it nice and ripe and ready, I haven't had an issue with it. And that it's been over 20 years since I discovered that. You know, because I have yet to come across in all that time a woman that was on menopause and beyond menopause. You feel me? So I know it's great, especially as a man. It feels good to conquer new territory, to have something new, right? Because my mentality used to be, ain't no pussy like new pussy. Ain't no pussy like new pussy. But guess what? That mentality got me 3 diseases. Ain't no pussy like new pussy. And I had to say, you know what? It doesn't have to be new pussy for it to be great. I just got to get her there. I got to make sure that she ripe and ready. I got to make sure she dripping. I got to make sure that thing is nice and soft and ready for entry. And it's great every time. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's great for her. Think about it. The better it is for her, the better it is for you. The better it is for her, the better it is for you. What does that mean? That means that if it's good for her, it's definitely going to be good for you. To it. Kelvin Black says, call me, I'll straighten her out. That's funny. No, seriously. if y'all have an issue, because let me tell y'all the alternative, trying to find some new wet pussy, there are many more dangers than y'all are failing to realize right now, especially nowadays in the modern era, because it's not just diseases you got to worry about now. It's the scamming. It's the setup. These chicks will line you up. They'll set you up. They'll scam you. You understand? Because I've heard many stories. Right? They'll line you up. They'll set you up. And they'll scam you. And vice versa. For women, ladies, these dudes will try to snatch it from you. Or, you know, they'll put you in positions where you out there selling your body now. Listen, out there being reckless, having reckless sex can be dangerous, y'all. And it is dangerous. But they're not telling y'all that these days. They're just telling y'all, your body, your choice. Do what you want. Yeah, it's free and liberating. Oh, be a liberated woman. Go out there and give it up to everybody. Because now what's in danger also is your pair bonding. Yes, pair bonding is real. The more you have with the more people, the less sensitive you become and the less likely you are to fall in love. If you're out there just giving it up all willy-nilly and all that other type of shit, and you think you got to be out there just being everybody's, okay, you're going to be everybody's, but the next thing you know, hell, the shit ain't being enjoyed. You're not going to enjoy a person. You're less likely to enjoy being with the opposite sex because you done had so many of them. It's like, it is what it is. Now, what kind of life are you living? What kind of life are you living when you can't enjoy the opposite sex? Now you got it. Now you're thinking about getting with somebody else, getting with the same sex. Oh well, now you want to explore anal and all these other type of all this other type of shit. This shit ain't nothing better than a vagina to me. Like I have never considered, even with all the vagina that I've had, I have never thought, well, let me try this asshole. No, nigga, what? What? It's not self-lubricating. It's not self-cleaning. It doesn't bounce back. Have you heard of anal prolapse? But it's the mentality. It's the mentality that, oh, I gotta have all this variety and all this different shit. Well, guess what? One vagina is like any other vagina, right? Yes, there's different shapes. Some are fatter than others. Some women have bigger clits than others. You know what I'm saying? Some women squirt, some don't, but they all get wet if you turn them on. But I mean, yeah. But you can get a woman to where she can't squirt. You know what I'm saying? There are ways to get her there. You just got to explore and do different things. You don't have to have sex with all these different people. You don't have to. I mean, you can. I mean, I don't want to sound like a hypocrite because I done did it. But I'm not doing it no more. I done had sex with the same woman for going on for over 15 years. And it still gets nice and juicy for me. You know, because she enjoys it. She enjoys me. She enjoys me as a man. I do things to get her there, right? Now it's just automatic, right? It's just me being me as existing as a human being, existing as the man that I am. I don't have to do too much anymore, right? Because she's ready for it. The bottom line is that they push this narrative that you can't be satisfied with one or two or three people, right? Like I said, me and my wife even talked about maybe introducing a third or a fourth, second or third chick, you know? But I'm like, well, do I want to deal with do I have the energy for that? But, I mean, they push this narrative, like I said, that, I mean, you have to have this and you got to do that, and, you know, but it's not necessary. It really, at the end of the day, it's not. It's not. You know, especially for, you know, if you want to have a family, all that type of shit. You want to. I mean, listen. It's a discussion for you and your woman to have. If you want to introduce a second or a third woman into your life. And I'm never entertaining the idea of introducing another man, because that shit ain't gonna fly. Point blank in the period. And that's not something that my wife desires. She doesn't desire that. You know. But she does have an open mind in regards to another woman being in the picture. And it hasn't happened, because it's like, okay, well, you know, I know that the option's there, and I know that it's something that we can explore, but it's not something that I'm like, oh, let me go out there and just try to make it happen. No, it's not. It's not something I'm tripping on, because I haven't fallen under the spell of this whole thing that they try to make it look like. They try to make it look like, oh, look, it's paradise, it's great. There's nothing like just out there, just being out there and just getting it in with any and everybody. Because I know the dangers behind it. I know what can happen. There's dangers just outside of disease. You know? Is it because you don't know these people now. These people nowadays, these men and these women nowadays, man, they'll get you caught up over sex. You so eager to just to get it in that you're not thinking about all the dangers around it. But you know, it is what it is, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and end this live stream. I gotta handle some business. You know, gotta pull over, find a gas station, and relieve myself. So, you know, that's how it is when you're on the road and you stay hydrated. But anyway, just think about that, y'all. You know, it's not, you don't have to go get it in with any and everybody to be satisfied in that regard. Like, right? Especially recklessly. Make sure, you know, you're out there, you're protecting yourself in more ways than one. Not just with dental dam, or not just with a diaphragm and all that other type of shit. There are other ways you need to protect yourself if you're out there, going out there in the world willy-nilly, getting it in. You know? You got to keep your eyes open, you got to keep your head on the swivel, all that good shit. So, with that being said, I'm going to get on off of here. Like, share, subscribe, and we're going to keep marching forward toward freedom. Peace.